Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Hope you all are doing great. Welcome to our today's session of Meet the Global Leader. This program is organized focusing on students who are mainly based in Bangladesh and currently studying at universities. So, this objective of this webinar is to share the impressive professionals around the world, their student life and their professional journey, so that students who are currently studying at the universities they can understand how people are doing things, their journey, their student lives, so that they can connect what skills to develop and how to proceed with their future life, and also to how to utilize their student life. And we also share some advice from our speaker. So today we have invited Miss Nikki. She is a board qualified independent non-executive director, facilitator, coach, and a highly sought after thought leader in the field of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. With over 30 years of experience, she has a proven track record of success in driving cultural transformation and empowering individuals across various industries. She served as the Group Diversity and Inclusion Director at Prudentials and so on. So her passion for creating inclusive workplaces and fostering individual growth is truly inspiring. I'm confident her insights will be incredibly valuable to all of you today. So please join me in welcoming Miss Nikki Davies. Miss Nikki, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thank you for having me, and it's lovely to be connected with so many people today.
Great. So, as you know, our audience, they're actually students. So it would be great if you take us back to your student life and shortly share some of the your experiences that helped you develop some skills. And how was your student life as well?
Yeah. So when I was choosing which university to go to, I actually finished school a year earlier than most of my peers, and I didn't really have a very clear career path about where I wanted to go to. So I chose a technical college, which was close to my home, and started to work in this space of technology. At that time, this was I'll give you my age. I turned 50 this year. So at that time, the internet was just coming online, and the technology space was a real booming and cutting edge industry to be involved in. So I got involved in the my IT course, but I was, one of very few women on that program when we started. There was hardly anybody there studying information technology. And it felt this is where my passion for diversity inclusion started there, because I was, very cognizant that people were saying, why do you have a right to be here? Like, technology is, for guys. We are the ones that are into computers. Like, that conversation happened. And it was very interesting because at the end, when we graduated, myself and one of my other female friends were the only two that got first class degrees, like the top of the class. So when we graduated, I realized at that time I hadn't spoken up. I hadn't built my confidence to be, to be somebody and to be true to myself. So yeah, I went through my university life, holding a large part of myself back, and now I'm really quite confident to go out and talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Great. And yeah, sure. Was there any hidden skill or skills or experience from your university days that proved most valuable in your professional life so far?
Yeah, so the lessons that I learned of being in a minority at that time, like, brought this passion for equity and for justice. So that is now one of my core values. The other things that started around then was the use of technology for good, like being able to not be scared of technological developments and seeing how we can use them to build a better world for everybody. When I left university, I was involved in online education and developing a platform where we would be able to do things like this. At that time, that was not possible. So I was involved in a company that was able to do that. So being able to embrace, learning to embrace new developments and not to be scared of them was something that I also learned and brought with me in my career. And interestingly, my final year project was on company resilience through business continuity planning. I talked about Y2K. So I don't know if people nowadays remember that there was this issue around Y2K and the run up to the start of the new millennium. Everybody was worried that all the computer systems were going to crash. So a lot of companies and investment went in there to fix the computer systems. And that was my final year project, which was published in 1996, was talking about the Y2K problem, business continuity planning. And now I've come full circle with my own business and my own offering to talk about resilience of organizations and individuals. So it goes right back to my school days, those three things: justice and equity, the use of technology, and building resilience in systems and people now, which is still a common theme and a common thread in my career now.
Great. And like in some cases, students after completing their last semester, they have to do their internship in most cases. So, sometimes students, miscalculate, are not using this opportunity to start their career. So they just think it's just an internship, and just doing it in a carelessly. It's just for the sake of a part of course completion.
So
So in
yeah.
your case,
Oh, are you still
in
there?
your yeah. So in your case, how do you see for students who want to embark their journey in professional sector, the importance of having doing internship seriously? How do you see the significance of doing
Oh,
internship in a serious manner?
so an interesting fact is that I actually ran campus recruitment in India for a bank, an international multinational company bank. And with my team, we were very much involved in going out to all the campuses across India. So it was very exciting to see people in the universities there then trying to convince them to join our bank, and really understood better how these internships can sometimes be seen as a lot of pressure, but also they can have a really big benefit and a big upside. So my advice is that you should put your best self forward for your internship. Treat it like it is your career. It's the first stage in your career, right? People are observing you. They want you to succeed. And I know it's going to be hard work. And I know that you've got the pressures of school in the background as well. But I promise you, in 10 years' time, nobody is going to care about your grades coming out of school. But they will care about the companies that you've worked for and how you make people feel as you build your network. People never remember what you did, but they remember how they made you feel. So if you go in with that intention in your internship and think about this as building your network, starting your career, and this is your foundation, then please focus on that, because that is what people will remember you for in the longer term. And I am still connected with almost every intern that I hired throughout all the years in campus recruitment. I hear from them, I get updates, they come back to me, they tell me what they're doing because they made a good impression. So please make the internship your priority, because school will still be there when you come back. And the things that you learn in your internship, you can bring them out into your schoolwork. Real life examples that you can show that you understand the theory that you're learning in school.
Absolutely. Can you share a little bit about your organization connection, not online, and how do what it does, and how this organization is creating impact in the community, in the country, according to you?
Yeah, so Connection was really a side hustle that I had before I stepped away from corporate, which has now become a very strong offering across the Asia Pacific and also in Europe as well. I'm starting to expand my business there. So for Connection, I really focus on three pillars. One is as a facilitator. I have a number of partners who develop and deliver programs, and I support them through my expertise in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space, and also as a coach to deliver the programs they have with their corporate clients. I work on a lot of projects there in different industries, from finance, insurance, legal, also into starting to go into luxury goods as well. So yeah, there's a lot of work in that space around facilitation. The second pillar is as an executive coach, and also a career coach, helping people to figure out their career. And I do work with students as well, giving them advice on how to go into their the first phase of their career. And then the final stream is as a consultant. So I work with a number of corporates to help them to develop their diversity, equity, and inclusion strategy, and then implementing that strategy after we've devised the framework that they want to work towards.
Excellent. And
so in terms of the impact, I really do try to make sure that everything I'm doing is impact driven, and that people will walk out with something tangible and practical that they can implement themselves to really improve their lives and the lives of other people around them. And then for the companies I work with, really making sure that they have a strategy and a plan which is measurable with the impact, and that they go on a journey, at least 3-year journey, to achieve their overall diversity, equity, and inclusion goals, which is aligned to their business strategy as well.
Being an entrepreneur is sometimes people say is full of hard work and passion. So now you're an entrepreneur, but you built a successful career while running an educational consultancy during your studies. How did you manage your time effectively as a student entrepreneur?
So I've been in the entrepreneurial space twice in my life. So at the start of my career, I was an entrepreneur, and now as I come to the end of my career, I was an entrepreneur. I took the opportunities when they came to me to move into corporate mid-career, because it was something that I felt would help me and add credibility to my skill set. So the entrepreneurial life is not easy. It's a hustle, constantly a hustle. You're always looking for business, which can impact personal relationships for sure, because obviously the people that are closest to you, you're always talking about what it is that you're doing and the work that you're doing, because you're working as a solopreneur. That's what I call myself, not an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, because I'm the brand and I'm the business that I'm building. So it can impact on personal relationships. And my children, my kids, who are they're quite old now, and I see them get very frustrated that I am again talking about my work and about deals that I've been landing. They just don't want to hear it. So yeah, you have to take that and understand that you have to draw a line sometimes about your work-life balance as an entrepreneur. You can't always take it home, but it is a constant hustle. There are opportunities out there. It's about finding your niche and where you can solve the problems, and what are the problems you're solving for. Then learning how to articulate those problems in a way that other people go, yes, that's my problem, and you're the right person to solve it. So yeah, it's about finding your niche, finding the right idea, and then sticking to that idea.
Excellent. And as a woman, especially in South Asian countries, in developing countries like Bangladesh, they are thriving in their career. They're participating in so many, leading positions, entrepreneurship, real sector and professional sector. So if we talk about one point, which is as a woman navigating a demanding career, you likely faced challenges. So can you share one story of overcoming a particular obstacle and the lessons you learned, and as a whole, professionals, students, or everyone, how they can confront a challenge? What should be the strategy? If you share in brief about this, overcoming challenges and one of the story that you can connect.
Yeah, I mean, I think that everybody encounters challenges in their life, right? It's not just being a woman, a student, an older person, a younger person. We are all going to face a number of challenges in our future. And this is really where my practice around resilience and why I became focused on building resilience is that when we get a challenge, we either let it break us or chip away at us, or we make it strong. It makes us stronger. And that's what resilience is. You're not either resilient or not. You actually use that to be, or any challenges to become more resilient. So the more crises that happen for me is like made me the person I am today, and made me the confident person I am to be able to address things that come at me on a daily basis and not let it break me. So there's so many examples I could think of. But yeah, for sure, the challenge at university when I did feel that I didn't belong and that my voice wasn't heard, I felt at that point that I didn't really know what I was doing, or I had made the wrong decision, I had chosen the wrong course. Being able to look back on that, or as I stepped out, having got the grades, having found a career path and a job, at that point I realized, okay, I didn't, the worst thing didn't happen, right? I got a career, I found work, I succeeded in my workplace. I took strength from that, right? And that's really what I hope people that on this call can understand is, even when the worst thing happens, you can either choose to let it break you, or you can choose to learn the lessons from it and become stronger from it. And that's really what building resilience is about. And that's what I'm really passionate about, helping other people achieve as well.
Absolutely, an attitude towards the problem, and the mindset and about towards the life is important. That it's a wonderful journey. It's like like it's sometimes it's bumpy, sometimes it's smooth, but it's like we have to stick to the steering. So like in most cases, as for students or for almost everyone who are in professional sector or students, there should be like the importance of maybe people have mentors in a formal or informal manner. So did you have a mentor or mentors during your professional journey? How did they contribute to your success? What advice would you give students on finding mentors?
So I have a very different view on this. So I think that mentorship and mentors is all very good, but it's advice. And I'll maybe be a little bit controversial here. I say everybody has an opinion, right? But most opinions are not suitable for you. So one of the things that I encourage people to do is become your own mentor, right? So when you are faced with a problem or an issue, yes, you can talk to other people, but the main question I would ask yourself is, if my friend was asking this question, what advice would I give to them? Then I would ask, why am I not taking that advice myself? We're always so good at giving other people advice, whether it's about relationships, about the jobs we should take, about the risks that we should take, where we should invest our money. We're always so good about giving out advice. How much of that advice do we actually do ourselves? So holding yourself accountable and being your personal mentor, I think, is number one in here. When you do have mentors, I just want you to be aware that most people are over-mentored and under-sponsored. Okay, sponsorship is a different form of support and championship. You want to find sponsors rather than mentors. So sponsors are people who are advocates, respected, and they also know you and that you trust. So if you're having a mentorship relationship, try to move it away from mentorship, away from strategizing and giving you advice, to becoming more around being a connector. So not just saying, You should go and find somebody in this area of expertise. Ask them to connect you. Can you make that introduction to that person, right? Not just give the advice and mentorship, not just say that it's a good idea, but make that introduction. Then ask for opportunities, right? Make them an opportunity giver, right? So often our mentors will go, you should go and present this idea at one of these councils, or you should organize this event. Ask them, okay, do you have an event that I could talk at? Can you go and recommend me to speak at an event that you have? It's just a slight difference from being advice to being an opportunity. And then when they know you and they trust you, ask them to advocate for you. When you're not in the room, to keep an eye and an ear out for those opportunities and to say, you know what? I know this guy or I know this girl, they would be excellent for that job. And then they're the ones that recommend you, because that creates the tidal wave, right? So try to think more beyond mentorship and the advice into the action-oriented area of that spectrum. Find your sponsors, not your mentors.
Absolutely. That is very true. Like people say that you can do that, you can do this. So this is one of this organization is doing. Scope Entrepreneurship Development is directly not saying you should do this, you should do that. We're connecting with like people from various backgrounds, and whenever anyone reaches to us and say, we need this kind of support, then we actually try to understand the requirement and we connect them with the people who are working in this relevant sector. So go and learn from them. Maybe go to their office now, how they're operating, how they're doing business. So it's about not you should do that, you should do that, and blah blah blah. Instead of saying we focus on like practical learnings. Go, we can make the connection and go and learn from by yourself, or like you go along with that person. So this is actually true. I can relate that the importance of like seeing is believing. You go and doing things, and it actually create a great value. So you emphasize leading with empathy. So can you share an example from your experience of how empathy played a crucial role in achieving positive outcomes?
Yeah, every day. So I really champion kindness and acceptance, right? So empathy shows up because we don't know what the other person is going through, right? So quite often when we encounter people, they have this whole other part of their life that they're dealing with. And we might be experiencing them at a moment of crisis, and we just don't know this. So yeah, there's a good example that even just today, like someone was asking to have a call with me, and I felt that they were being quite pushy and saying, no, I have to have this call with you today. And I was like, oh, I have this event that I'm going to do. I have a commitment with some students in Bangladesh. And they were saying, no, I really need to speak to you. And I could have drawn a hard line, right? I could have said, they're being rude. They're like just being too aggressive. I don't really owe this person anything. But I was like, no, there's something not right. And my empathy kicked in. And I'm glad it did, because actually that person had just lost their job. And they were asking me for some advice. They were asking me for support. They were asking me if I knew any other jobs that were out there. And, I'm glad that I was there. And then I was able to say, actually, I have a project that I'm working on and would love for you to be part of that project. So if I had not had empathy, that person would have, maybe spiraled, maybe gone somewhere else and I wouldn't have had the opportunity to work with them and to have this project that I had been struggling to find the right person to work with. Now we're going to work together on a project. And that happened this morning, just before this call. It's why I was 1 minute late.
Great. It's so, like being good to others, in any form is important because we're a human being, and this has a very positive power, to make friends and to calm down in a situation. Like, what are some ways, according to you, university students can get involved in promoting diversity and inclusion on campus and in their communities?
So I think the first thing to do is not look at diversity and inclusion as something that other people do. It's what you do, right? It starts with you. If you treat people the way that you want to be treated, then that is living and breathing diversity and inclusion, right? We quite often have situations where people are different, right? People are not fitting the mold. And our immediate response to those individuals is, you're different, right? And we don't want to talk to you, you're an other. Now, then, if you think about yourself and say, what if I was the other? What can I do? How can I treat other people in a more positive way? So starts with you. The other part is to see if there are people that are being actively excluded within your group. Reach out to them and be curious, extend a hand, be the ally on campus, and be the person who, has a one-to-one conversation with people. Say, hey, we've been in the same class. I know nothing about you.
Yeah.
I would love to make that connection and learn what it's like to be in another person's shoes, because you just get this rich tapestry of life. Once you understand other people, it helps you to then develop your own skill set. It helps you to help other people give back into the community and into society. So yeah, start with how you want to be treated yourself, and then be curious of other people's stories.
Okay, I'm just, I know you have 10 limitation, but four more questions, but very brief. Students and professionals, like when we, say for example, students, we would like to focus mainly on importance of learning, continuous
Sure.
learning. Students, it's not just about academic studies. They should learn a lot of things for skills development, or as a side by side, some lessons that can help them in different ways that make are based on their interest. So what are you currently passionate about learning, and how do you stay curious and motivated to keep learning throughout your life?
So lifelong learning is something that I'm very passionate about. I think that learning doesn't just stop at school, right? And if you set goals and set targets about always pushing yourself to learn more, it's it's something that then just becomes second nature, to be curious and to invest in your own development. So currently my focus is around resilience and resilience building, and what that does and the impact that has on all of our lives. We've got with resilience at the moment, I'm focusing on how that impacts on mental strength, and helping people to build the muscle to become more attuned to how they can overcome mental health challenges through building their own resilience. You see, I have a university-age daughter in the background, right?
Oh, great. So you hold various leadership positions and a dedicated time to do charitable work.
Yeah.
How do you maintain a healthy work-life balance? And in most cases, we who are in profession or who are students. So for the students, they most in many ways they actually misuses their time, staying late like not all, like majority of the students who are in the universities, they staying late, they sleep less, and they are mostly on screens, like monitors and mobiles. So actually, when we are students, maybe as we are young, we have so much energy, but the impact on our health later on is huge.
Hmm.
So how do you see, like, to lead a healthy work life or student life balance? How do you maintain yours? And if you share one or two importance of leading a healthy life, especially for students, it would be really great.
So, as a solopreneur, I wouldn't say that the definition that you've spoken to there is like to create a work-life balance is something that I see as being particularly attuned to my lifestyle, right? So as an entrepreneur, as someone who's building a business and who's constantly looking for these opportunities, I tend to look at this in a slightly different way, as with most things. Once you start to work on things that you're passionate about, then work becomes less about work, right? So if you can identify early on, this is what I really want to do, and this is my passion project, or this is an organization that I support, the work that you do there no longer becomes work. It becomes fun. And the time that you spend on screens, the time that you're spending with people, it then becomes more fulfilling and it leads to a healthy lifestyle. If you lead a purpose-led life, you're more likely to be happy. You're more likely to be resilient. You're more likely to deal with challenges, questions about your future in a more productive and healthy way. So yes, work-life balance is important. Finding time to exercise, finding time to do like other things beyond work is important, but you can find things in work which make your life worthwhile and purpose-led. So don't think just because I work all the time that I'm not a happy person or that I'm leading a non-productive life. That's not the case, because I do a lot of my work is with charities that I'm passionate about. I work with a charity called Inspiring Girls, where we work with young girls to teach them about the financial literacy, but also to provide them with role models that they can relate to break the cycle of poverty. So that's the work which yes, it's work. Yes, it's not easy. Yes, it's hard, but it fills up my cup and my soul because it's worthwhile to spend the time doing this. So that's my charity work, and at the same time I'm helping to provide governance for the charity and for the people that work there and give them some structure. So yeah, work-life balance, I think it should be more about like, is the work that you're doing valuable and purpose-led? And then if you want to separate it into personal life, is your personal life productive? Is it worthwhile? Is it filling up your cup? Does it make your soul sing? That's really how I would look at this.
Definitely. So we are almost at the end of our session. So how do you think the workplace is evolving regarding diversity and inclusion? What skills will be most valuable for future leaders?
So for future leaders, I think you should look at diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging outside of human resources. You know, once you start to embed these principles and these theories into actual business and the bottom line, that's when the impact happens. I think the mistake that historically has happened is that diversity and inclusion has been looked at for purely through a human resources lens and how to manage our human resources and our talent. If instead we look at it from our customer perspective and how to reach more customers and make our products and solutions more inclusive, that's when it impacts the bottom line. And have our human resources or our personnel match our customer base, will really start to to change and to evolutionize how we create very inclusive workplaces that people love to come to work and can find their purpose and their passion.
Right. Great. Thank you, Ms. Nikki. And the journey lessons and your experiences, based on that, we believe that students is going to have some understanding, or have some lessons that can help them. If they transform it for good, greater good, they can make their life more better and valuable to the community. In that case, that is the thing that we try to do through advice, through lessons sharing, so that this information and insights can help you. And especially with this international program, they can understand the mindset of different professionals, entrepreneurs, and they can adapt and broaden their mindset in a global perspective. So this is one of our objectives. And people like you, who out of their busy time contribute for the development or benefits of students who are the future leaders, even if it doesn't matter where the country they are from. This is actually our fuel, and our without you, without students, and we cannot make that happen. So it's our sincere gratitude on behalf of School of Entrepreneurship Development for your time, and for your wonderful and impressive information and insights that is going to definitely help students to be a better future leader.
Thank you so much for your time, and I hope this was useful. Please do reach out, connect on LinkedIn. I'm always here to help and really grow my network. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, and have a good day.
You too. Thank you. Have
Bye.
a good day.